are your hosts, Jessica Shaw and Dalton Ross.
Welcome back to EW Live on Sirius XM Stars 109. I'm Jessica Shaw. I'm so incredibly happy to be here with Golden Globe winning actor, New York Times multi-bestseller, like every 2 seconds, author, actor, director, everything, Chris Colfer, who is everything in my household. I have to tell you, you are Hemingway in my home. You are Hemingway of my home, Chris Colfer.
Oh.
And your new book, A Tale of Witchcraft, is available today. Oh my goodness. Congratulations on that. And welcome, Chris Colfer.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It's great to see you too. So tell me about when you started with A Tale of Magic. This is A Tale of Witchcraft. When you started with A Tale of Magic, were you like, okay, here I know I am now creating this new world of stories, not different from Lander stories, but about Bristol Evergreen. She's girls are not allowed to read, and she sort of stumbles and she finds a library and she finds this book of magic, and then all sorts of things. All hell and all good things break loose simultaneously. When you came up with A Tale of Magic, did you think to yourself, okay, I have this many books in Bristol's world, or how did you, what were your thoughts?
It's interesting. When I wrote the Land of Stories series, I knew exactly what the story was going to be and exactly how many books there would be. For this one, I'm not sure. I know it's going to be a trilogy now, but I'm leaving it open to write some more in the future.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. With Tale of with Land of Stories, that was also going to be like 2 books at one point, and then oh yeah, those are New York Times bestsellers every 2 seconds, and there's an entire generation that is now obsessed with these books, and all of a sudden 2 books became 3, became 4, became 5. So yes, there. We've heard this line before. If this is just going to be a few,
It is my worst line. It's like my pickup line for readers, I guess. Read this one, and there might be more. It's funny. The Land Stories, the book sales were definitely a motivation for keeping it going, of course. But I knew where the story would end. Like from the minute I started writing, I knew where it would end. I wasn't sure how many books it would take me to get there. It ended up taking 6. I think actually originally the 4th, 5th, and 6th book were supposed to be just one big book, but then that was insanity, so I split them up into 3. But The Tale of Magic, I don't know where it's going to end. I definitely know where the 3rd one is going to be and where that'll leave the characters, but if I want to do some more in the future, I will.
What was it about Bristol? I mean, I love this. As a mother of daughters, though, there's obviously it doesn't matter if you're, whatever gender you are, liking this book. But I can tell you that as a mother of daughters in particular, there was something very special for me about this this girl who's kind of told, like, you can't do this because you're a girl, and then enters this world and with power and strength and compromise and integrity and danger and there's so much. Was that something that you thought, okay, the world of magic has plenty of male heroes, let's get a girl in there?
Well, absolutely. And and just to be honest, all of my heroes growing up were women. And that's also why I love writing about women so much, because as a young gay boy struggling with oppression and fighting for acceptance as well, like I identified with people like Hillary Clinton and Gloria Steinem and Whoopi Goldberg, and those are just the ladies that I saw myself in. So I absolutely wanted to I don't necessarily return the favor, but I did want to tell that story from a woman's point of view. Bristol, I think the reason why people respond to her so well is because she represents aspiration and potential that is ignored. So there's a little Bristol in all of us. And with each of these books, like A Tale of Magic, magic was an allegory for oppression. It was, oppression and fighting for acceptance in a world that didn't accept you. I think A Tale of Magic helped parents bridge a lot of gaps to their kids with conversations that are often very difficult to have.
Yeah, for sure. Did I read this correctly? This is like something that actually like gave me goosebumps. It warmed my heart so much that your grandmother was the one who kind of like encouraged you to be an author.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I was
love
7,
that so much.
Yeah. So I was 7 and I tried writing the land stories for the first time.
At age 7.
At age 7, and it
on
was
like
very,
loose leaf paper with like a pencil, and
absolutely. And it's very hard to write a novel with a second grader's vernacular. And I would just struggle, and I would write out a chapter, which a chapter would be like a page and a half, and I would be exhausted afterwards. And I'd ride my bike down the street to my grandma's house, and I would give her my chapter, and she'd proofread it for me. And if she liked it, she'd keep it in a stack by her table. But if she didn't like it, she'd crumble it up in front of me, throw it away, and say, "You can do better."
So, oh my God, tough editor!
I got some tough love from the very beginning. But yeah, so she was always my she's my editor, my first editor.
I also love that it's like sometimes people are born to be writers, and I just love that at the age of 7. You were telling stories, and here you are, 30. Don't make me do the math. 23 years later, was that right?
Yeah.
I think so. That here you are on like your bazillionth book, and the roots of that were in you so young. Like I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think what it really was is I was born with control issues. And I found out, well, if I'm a writer and I'm creating the world, I have nothing but control. And
you're controlling everything.
Everything. And I found it very therapeutic because I had no control over my life at 7, as most 7-year-olds don't. So, it was a creative and therapeutic outlet for me.
Chris, I feel like last time I saw you in person, which may have been 60 years ago, I have no idea what time or day it is. You were talking about writing a script and directing a Land of Stories film. Is there where are we with that? What's going on? Give us.
So, in all honesty, what happened was we were doing it with 20th Century Fox. And it was going very, very smoothly. And then the Disney-Fox merger happened. And so it was like 6 months of just waiting to see which project was going to go, Disney Plus, theaters, because they have so many different platforms of which they're producing content now. So the waiting game kept going and going, and nothing really happened. And then the pandemic hit. So those both things didn't do us any favors. So we're at the point where we're going to do try to get a fresh start with a new home.
Is that like one of those things that is like, we were so close, or are you feeling hopeful that this is still going to happen? I mean, I have to imagine it's inconceivable to me that someone wouldn't jump on this as a successful, brand or whatever.
Honestly, I go back and forth to be completely honest. I do think it's going to happen. I think the books have done so well at this point that I think an adaptation is going to happen. But look, I've said from the very, very beginning, I'd rather be a good book that 100 people see than an awful movie 100 million people watch. And I think given what I'm doing and fighting to maintain control, and I'm really trying to tell the story that the readers want to see, not the story that executives want to tell because it reminds them of something else that the game, how the game works. Totally. So in order to do that, it's going to take time. Really, it's not really necessarily my impatience that bothers me so much. It's the kids when they come up to me at book signings and look at me with those big eyes and they say, "When is the movie happening?" And I'm like, it's coming. I'm doing everything I can. And I got a death threat from an 8-year-old recently. Because she's tired of waiting for the movie. She's like, these movies better happen by the time I'm in middle school, or else.
Oh my God! Did she specify the death threat, or was it just an open-ended "or else"?
It was very open. But first time I've ever gotten a death threat written in crayon. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, yeah, that's listen, kids are very resourceful, I guess, and creative. It was interesting because I was I was like, God, I wonder how many years you've been writing this. And obviously, you were in Glee when you started writing. do you realize that I believe in a few months will be the 10-year anniversary of the first book? Is that
it will in 2020 2022?
Okay, so maybe it was a year. It was the deal was announced maybe in a few months.
Yes, probably. Yeah,
and that's. I mean, can you imagine? Here you were. You just turned 30 during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm, I did.
By the way, what's that like? What's that like having like a big 3-0 birthday in the middle of a global pandemic?
Well, my we always joke in the gay community that 30 is gay death. And my friends all got together and they made like a birthday video for me, and it made me feel like I had died because it was like a tribute to me. It was interesting. But honestly, like I was very, very, over dramatic about turning 30. But I think I recently lost my friend Naya Rivera, and after losing her, I don't think I'm ever gonna complain about getting older ever again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I mean, I know I thought about you and your whole cast. I just wanted, on behalf of all of the listeners and everything, we are so incredibly sorry. What a devastating loss. I want to ask you about happier things about Glee. I have to imagine, first of all, because you may be however many years older than when you started on Glee. You look exactly the same.
I do.
It's like you and Paul Rudd, whatever deal with the devil you guys made about not aging. You look identical to what you did when you were playing a high school kid. So I imagine people, because Glee is on Netflix, you must have a whole new generation of people who recognize you and think that you're still Kurt.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting because of streaming, Glee never really had like a dip when it came to like the fan base. And I remember as the show was wrapping up, we were all kind of told by the older seasoned actors that were on the show, like, you're gonna have a lull, you're gonna have a break where people leave you alone and they don't bother you, because that's just what happens if you're not on the air, being in people's homes every week, they kind of forget about you. That did not happen because we have not been in people's homes since the show started in 2008. That's been interesting. But yeah, it's always so interesting to me, the people that call me Kurt. I get it. That's the character that I played, but there are some people that are just no, I am not a person. I am a character, and that's it's been hilarious and frustrating at the same time.
Do you think here's my theory, Chris. I feel like because of the popularity of Glee on Netflix, that perhaps A Tale of Magic should become a series on Netflix as well. What are your thoughts?
I've had some change of thought about, because I originally I really wanted The Land of Stories to be a film. I wanted it to be like a single experience rather than multiple experiences. So I don't know, but I've always thought Tale of Magic actually would make a really great miniseries because there's also just so much in it. Where The Land of Stories, there's a lot of lessons and morals along the way, but The Land of Stories is basically I wrote it as escapism for kids. It is an adventure, it's entertaining, it's to take their mind off of the world. But Tale of Magic is really a reflection of the world, so I feel like you almost want to take more time with that, and so I think that lends itself to a good miniseries.
Yeah, I'm really into it. I know someone else who definitely wants it to be a miniseries, but even if it's not, loves the book so dearly. And that is my colleague / daughter, Josie, who I told you
Josie.
Could ask. Hold on, I'm going to give her the headphones. She has a question. She read A Tale of Witchcraft, which is out today. Everyone should get it. Everyone's going to love it. Literally got it in a day.
My gosh.
So,
hi, Josie.
Hi, I'm literally meeting my biggest idol ever.
Oh, thank you.
Acting and writing, that's awesome, because that's kind of who I want to be.
Hey, it can happen.
So, you were on Glee when you wrote some of the books?
Yes, most of them, yeah.
I feel like, did you use any of the characters from Glee into the book? Because I feel like Skylene sort of has a Britney vibe. They're both kind of stupid and naive.
I think you're absolutely right. I think there is definitely a little Britney in Skylene. I also think there's maybe a little Jane Lynch in Lucy / Mother Goose. And oh my gosh, who else? Yeah. So, I'm sure a lot of it was subconscious too.
But my biggest question is, how did you just come up with this entire world? Well, you were like on a TV show that had like 10 billion seasons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's funny is I wrote most of the first Land Stories book underneath the stage of the Glee World Tour. So, like, there were times when I'd go out, I sing "Don't Stop Believin'," and then I'd run under the stage. I'd finish a sentence, and then I'd go out and sing "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Then I'd go back and finish another sentence and slap on a leotard and go to the single ladies dance. So that was quite a relay of experiences. But yeah, no, I'm not sure. I think you're a writer. I think you understand. Like, sometimes stories and characters, they just come to us and they're stuck in us, and the only way that we can get them out of our heads is by writing and creating stories. So that's what I did.
And in the next book, Bristol was supposed to be like your average independent, like kind of smart and like very Bristol. Basically, I was very surprised when Bristol had a love interest.
Okay, don't spoil it.
It's true. Yeah. Right. But it's funny because she then she finds out that he really necessarily wasn't a love interest, is that they were tricking her mind into her having feelings for him.
And in the Tale of Witchcraft, how did you come up with the Daughter of Death story? I mean, that was just like, that could have been its own book, like not inside a book. So how did you like?
I'm so glad you like that. I knew that death was going to be a character in A Tale of Witchcraft, but I didn't quite know how I was going to introduce him. And I knew I wanted Bristol to have a conversation with death. So creating the Daughter of Death was just my way of kind of combining the elements that I wanted to include the story. But I thought it was a pretty spooky story too. So I'm glad that you really liked it.
Okay, and my final question is, I mean, I love how you made like Barry from the last book, like, into basically the exact same Barry from the second book. But mostly, how did you make Brooks suddenly just so
sad
and a lot less arrogant and like less...
Yeah, Brooks really had a big piece of humble pie between the last book and this one, because his brother became a successful deputy justice, and his sister literally became the most powerful and most influential person in the entire world. So he's really going through it. But I think it's gonna be good for him. I think he's gonna come out a decent person at the end. And
Bristol's mother, I love how you just did her entire transformation.
Yeah.
And like, sorry.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving. Please tell your mom I'm loving this.
He's loving this.
Okay. Then you can also maybe, Chris, we are wondering when your next book is. I know you're a very prolific writer, and you love writing. So when is the next book in this series going to come out? Inquiring minds want to know.
So I think it'll probably come out this time next year. So it'll be a whole year, but hopefully you'll enjoy it.
All right.
Oh no, actually, I'm sorry, that was a lie. There's a 7th Land Stories book coming out next summer.
Okay, and Bristol's father.
Oh yes, yeah.
I feel like shouldn't the deputy justices, shouldn't they be like happy? I mean, I feel like if this were in the real world, wouldn't I feel like magic would have maybe made their jobs better? They could have bribed Bristol.
I know, and you know that's
dad just hates her. Get it out of our house.
I know it's insane, right? Hatred makes no sense because it could really benefit them as much as it could benefit anyone else, but they just don't see it.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Chris Colfer, you are a delight. Should I let Josie watch Glee for her 10th birthday?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, Josie, yeah. Okay, Chris, you got the Chris Colfer blessing. Okay, okay, all right. Well,
that made my whole day. Thank you.
thank you so much. You are just an absolute delight. You're just so talented, and I'm so excited for you on yet another best-selling series. A Tale of Witchcraft is available today. I can tell you, like, all I can say is my daughter is a discerning reader. She is a book snob, and every single thing that you've written, she absolutely adores. You're so talented, and so I want to thank you for this. Everyone should get the book. I'm looking forward to talking to you for the next one, Chris Colfer. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
We will be back on EW Live.